Welcome, listener, back to the podcast with no name. This is part 2 of our Doctor Who Club of Australia special. And before we get back into the second part of the episode, I'm going to play some Doctor Who theme music that was produced by Roger, who we know as Poodle-Faker. I'm going to play this music and then we'll get back into part 2 of the Doctor Who Club of Australia episode. The last line I have here is a TARDIS-sized plug for the Doctor Who Club and the possibility of the Doctor Who Club Australia podcast.
Working on it.
Yes, we are working on a Doctor Who Club of Australia podcast that we're hoping to get some members to come and join us and talk about their experience with Doctor Who, their loves, their hates, and just their general love of the show. So, yeah, we're looking at putting that together very soon. The purpose of tonight, obviously, was to get Roger on, introduce him to everyone, and hopefully a couple of his cohorts will come on in future. And
they've definitely said yes. Two people have definitely said they will. And I think once we get the ball rolling more, we'll say that's a great. Well, we're going to advertise it in a data extract. Yep. And we're definitely going to advertise it in our newsletter, electronic newsletter, which comes out once a month. So we'll put a little splurge in there about the aspirations of this particular podcast and what we're trying to do, and ask people if they would like to participate. And hopefully we'll get a regular thing going.
For our listener, if they're interested in the Doctor Who Club Australia, how would they contact you?
What, the Doctor Who Club? I wonder whether you're talking about the podcast activity.
No. This is the unabashed big opportunity, TARDIS-sized plug for the Doctor Who Club.
Oh, I see. All right.
If our listener wants to join, how would they get in contact? How would they get in contact with you?
Well, you just look up Doctor Who Club Australia on internet. You'll find there's a website there, and on the website there's opportunity to become a member. You just click on the buttons, and I think for concession is $20 a year, for normal person is $25 a year, and then there's $45 for 3 years. It's pretty cheap, actually.
It's extremely cheap, actually, and considering you get all the magazines as well, which
you get the magazines. The club is not non-profit, so all of this is produced out of the membership fee, out of the membership. And we run a few things like trivia night, and we make some money out of that, and we run day events, and we make not much, but something out of that. We sell stuff via the club shop, make a bit of money on that, not a lot. We do things up on Lulu, which is print on demand, and we make money out of that.
Look, we'll certainly point our listener towards that, Roger. And if anybody's thinking of buying any Doctor Who merchandise, please do it through the Doctor Who Club of Australia's website.
Yeah, some good prices too. Good discounted prices, yeah.
And you can find their website at www.dwca.org.au.
That is correct.
Very good.
That's where you can find it.
Do you have an email address as well, Roger, if someone wants to get in contact with you or submit some stuff for Doctor Who?
Yes, so you can find the Contact Us tab. I've just found it on the,
that's right.
the web page.
Yeah.
And you just fill out the bits and hit submit.
Yeah, and it comes to me.
Absolutely. So do you have anything coming up as far as social events?
Well, we have a day event on the 20th of November, and we've got overseas visitors coming sometime next year, early next year, in sort of late April time, and we're trying to set up a proper sort of fully fledged event for that. But on top of that, we have every 2 months we have a day event, which is the one in Burwood, where people chat and talk and have food, and we show a few different things with previous Doctor Who episodes and oddball stuff which people have picked up related to the Doctor Who troupe. And of course, things like trivia night, which comes up as well. So the club is fairly active, particularly in Sydney, where a lot of the activity is. It has local groups scattered around the country, which are run by local group managers, and they just run their evenings for Doctor Who enthusiasts. So there'd be one in Brisbane, and there's one in Melbourne and Canberra. I can't remember the other ones, but there's quite a heap of them. There's about 5 or 6 across the country, which are just like a local group enthusiasts where they meet once a month to indulge themselves in Doctor Who, really. Yeah,
I remember back in the earlier days when I was a member, they used to hold regular video nights where somebody would put up their hand and say,
"That's right, yeah,
video night at my place," and
that's right,
and you just turn up to these strangers' house and
just watch few videos and have a pizza. Yeah, have a pizza or a glass of beer. Yeah. I think that's kind of dropped, by the way. So the problem we had was people actually COVID killed it, really, because you can't really go around other people's houses. But it's been an idea to try and reinvent that, because it was people really enjoyed that. It's a very sort of intimate sort of situation where you're hearing other people eating food in their lounge room, watching their TV and various interesting shows from Doctor Who. It
was fascinating. Actually, I couldn't believe that someone would actually open their house to a heap of strangers, and it was such a nice atmosphere, and everybody was there, all like-minded, watching the same thing and really getting involved with it. So it was terrific. So hopefully we can do something like that in the future.
That would be, if we could get that kicked off again. I'll write that down. There's a video.
Now that COVID is finished, it shouldn't be a problem.
Now, quick pop quiz. Roger, favourite episode?
Oh, I still think Genesis of the Daleks is, just absolutely outstanding sort of commentary.
That's up there.
On philosophy, philosophical.
Eddie?
I still like The Green Death, but I also like the other John Pertwee episode called Carnival of Monsters with Katie Manning.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Victoria?
That's a good question. I think, one of my favourites was the Celestial Toy Maker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that's a good
Another
one.
good one.
Yeah.
Davros?
Castrovalva.
Peter Davison.
Oh, right.
Mine's the Sea Devils.
The Sea Devils.
Right.
John Pertwee, the original.
The original Sea Devils.
Yeah. And
Princess?
Thank you. I didn't think you were going to ask me just because.
I was coming.
Yeah, I thought you're not going to ask me because I'm only new to it. Anything with Matt Smith and Amy Pond.
One episode. Pick one.
Oh, you're putting them on the spot.
You'll find
she's a newbie. She hasn't seen that many.
You might not know them.
I haven't seen that many. I can't.
So come on, pick one.
When Amy and Do-Wop work out that River is their daughter.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
All right. Now, for those of us that are classic nerds, what about in the new run of series? Roger?
Well, I think that's the Day of the Doctor, but I think is that actually an episode or is that a?
Oh no, that's
an episode. Yeah.
I really like the Day of the Doctor. Yeah, I thought I liked that very much.
Which one's that? What's that story?
That was the regeneration of David Tennant, wasn't it?
Yes, when he got the extra. No, you'll get there. Eddie?
I really like the Chris Eccleston Where's My Mummy one with the mask.
That was good, wasn't it? That was brilliant.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
Set in the World War. Unbelievable.
Victoria?
The first episode with Donna was really good, but I also liked Heaven Sent for Capaldi.
Yeah. Davros?
I have to make a confession. I have not watched any Capaldi. I've watched half of the first episode and just didn't like it.
Oh, which was the one with the statues that were crying, or
Weeping Angels?
Weeping Angels. That was creepy.
Yeah, a good one.
And that's my favourite of the new series is Blink, because the Doctor and Martha don't appear in the first part of it. And he only appears in the Easter eggs and the videos.
Yeah. I like how when they're the light goes out and then it comes back on and they're closer and
that's scary, and that was scary.
Frightening,
very clever, very clever.
Yeah, it was super clever because it didn't show anything.
Princess might have something to say.
Princess?
Well, I was just going to say my other favourite so far is when Capaldi's friend Bill became a Cyberman and she realised that she was going to lose her sentience, and so she committed suicide and saved everybody by taking off and exploding herself, and all the other Cybermen followed her. I can't think of the name of the episode.
I loved Bill. That was all heartbreaking.
Bill was heartbreaking, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. I cried.
Girl in the Fireplace, did you like that?
Oh, yeah. I really liked that.
That was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was very good. Yeah.
But it also recycled some of the classic monsters, if you like, with the robots and
that's right, yeah,
that sort of thing. The clockwork robots and everything else. That it was actually a really well done episode.
Yeah, look, classically, anything with Unit. I love the whole Unit storyline. Everything set on Earth. It was just amazing. The Brigadier.
Lethbridge Stewart. What a character, hey?
Yeah. Him and Sergeant Benton.
Oh.
Yes.
And some of their special effects from that era were just amazing. The dinosaur one, where they had literally had those hand puppet dinosaurs.
It's amazing.
Invasion of the Dinosaurs with Sarah Jane.
That's right.
John Pertwee. Yeah. That was unbelievable.
Did anyone watch the series that they did on the making of Doctor Who, the original series? It was, I think it was done by the BBC.
Recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was recent, but it had, I think one of the producers was actually an Australian woman that was behind the scenes, and she was the one that kept William Hartnell on track with a lot of stuff.
Oh, wow.
He'd turn around and try and do something, and they'd go, no, we haven't got the budget for that. And she got given the job to try and persuade him to actually continue going. It's actually a really good series.
That sounds fascinating. Where would you find that?
I'll tell you in a minute.
While Bargie does that, dear listener, I just want you to know that Bargie has actually been to the Doctor Who museum set. Whatever, he's been to the Doctor Who do what's it in Wales.
All right.
Wow.
Nice.
Yes, that was a bucket list item that was able to be ticked off.
Item, yeah.
And the good thing about it is just around the corner is the entrance to Torchwood.
Oh, all right.
That's right, yeah.
Right in front of the Welsh Cultural Centre.
All right.
And then probably within 50 metres of that was the entrance where Yarntu used to be in Torchwood.
All right, yeah.
And that's where they set up the Yarntu Shrine.
All right.
We were there, that was 2018, 2019.
Not that long ago.
So it was...
That's 25 years ago.
No, oh God, no. They'd moved the production of Doctor Who to the Welsh studios. They had all this bloody space, so they set up the museum there. And once again, this background that you've got here, or that I've got, is taken from a photo when we were at the museum. We got to walk through all of the TARDIS console rooms that they had set up there. Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun, and I brought back a whole heap of Doctor Who stuff and T-shirts and God knows what else.
Fantastic.
The name of the series was called An Adventure in Space and Time.
Oh, I think I've seen that, yeah.
I have seen parts of it, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Now, I found quite an interesting audio file while I was looking for some stuff today that I didn't even know existed, and I'll see if I can find it again. I found this yesterday when I was looking for some other stuff about the Doctor.
I see where others stumble blind. The secret truth named in our mind. Eternal wisdom is my guide. I am the Doctor. Through cosmic waste and TARDIS.
So, well picked. Yeah, apparently it was a promo that he did, that they were going to have as one of the intros for one of his series, but it never actually ended up making it off the cutting room floor.
All right. I didn't know that.
But apparently he also did a lot of voiceovers, because at the time he was also working and doing a bit of non-Doctor Who work in voiceover stuff. And there was a lot of crossover where apparently you can, if you go back through some of the Tom Baker series, you'll actually get voiceovers that were done by John Pertwee.
Wow. I didn't know that. There's a really good live recording of his one-man show, just called John Pertwee Live, I think it was called. It goes for about 2 hours. He does it in 2 sections because he had a very bad back at that time and he had to rest for half an hour or so between the two sections. But man, that is the most amazing story about when he was in the Navy and how he got sunk on the SS Hood. And
no way.
It was the HMS Hood.
Yeah, he
was on the hood when he got sunk.
Yeah, he got transferred out, I think, a day or two before it got sunk. And all his friends that died on that sinking. The Bismarck sunk it.
Yes.
Yeah, incredible.
Yes,
and he got blown up, and they thought he was dead, and they actually put him in the morgue, and he woke up in there. So he's got some fascinating stories. Yeah, I'll get it to you guys. Just an MP3, goes for about 2 hours. It's astonishing. Wow. He goes into Wurzel Gummidge and who that was based on, that character and everything. He's Postman.
Loved Wurzel.
My kids loved that. My kids loved Wurzel Gummidge. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, so did I. Yeah, brilliant show. Very, very clever. Very funny.
Eddie's handed over the outro to me because he's just having an attack of the vapours at the thought of all things Doctor Who. He loves it just so much. So, dear listener, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Podcasts with No Name. I'd like to thank Bargie, Victoria, Davros, Eddie and Poodle-Faker for joining in tonight's episode and discussing all things Doctor Who. And I can tell you, dear listener, that I've learnt lots because I am a total newbie to the world of Doctor Who. Now, Poodle-Faker has given you the contacts with Bargie's help for the Doctor Who Club of Australia, and please feel free to go and explore their website. I've had a quick look and it is quite interesting and there's an awful lot there. But if you would like to contact any of us at the Podcast with No Name, you can do so at podnoname@gmail.com or at podnoname on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you, dear listener. I know that Sid is quaking in his boots, dear listener, at the thought of meeting you or hearing from you, and I know that Graham would love to answer an email from you. So, dear listener, until next time, thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the Podcast with No Name. Take care.
What is that thing dangling in front of you?
That's the microphone. That's my little microphone stand. Because otherwise it brushes against the boobs and
You don't want boob brush.
I have that trouble.
Yeah.
Mine is Poodle-Faker.
Poodle-Faker.
Yeah, look it up. It's a good word. It really exists.
I'm dumbfounded. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, in the 1914-18 war, there were a lot of young men who professed to be veterans or veterans of the war, and in fact they never actually participated. And those people who masqueraded falsely were called Poodle-Fakers.
Oh,
wow!
That is gold.
Right,
he seems to have like an in-depth knowledge of just about everything.
I've just been able to retain useless crap.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, that's Frog. His name's Bob.
All right. Good old Bob. Frog.
I thought you'd seen a ghost. You were sitting there with your mouth open.
Yeah. What?
No. I would have been running out to the arms of Mr. Safety if I saw a ghost. Well, it depends on the ghost, I suppose, but, you know.
If you're also looking for tips on how to run the club, Roger, we're happy to give you some tips on how we run this podcast. It's probably...
that'd be good. Yeah.
So if you want to take it from a successful organisation to something less than that...
All right, okay. Thank you.
We try and get everything done in 3 40-minute periods, Roger.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Try not to go over that 2-hour mark if we can.
It depends on how much we're drinking at the time.
Yes, it does. The time we're sort of paralytic on the floor, the thing falls apart, does it?
Absolutely.
Most of all, I'd like to thank Podfaker for turning up. Can I say that again?
Poodle-Faker.
What did I call you?
Poodle-Faker.
Oh, Podface, actually, that's what came over my head. But never mind.
I know, I popped at that.
Terrific.
How was that?
Terrific. Yeah,
That's
very
great.
good.
Well, we
Nice
should be
to
able to
done.
craft this pile of steaming turd into something quite usable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, that outro was like the Mr. Whippy of turds. I'm sure you'll have to cut that to smithereens. Not for an episode of Us. You don't need it to talk Doctor Who stuff.
No? Okay.
We manage to talk shit all the time, so, you know.